Welcome back. Today on this episode of Haunt Talk, we are going to continue our coverage of Halloween Horror Nights, and we're going to talk about the scare zones and a couple other little things that happened while we were there.
Mm-hmm. So we'll be giving, because there's 5 scare zones, we'll be giving our favorite from least favorite to most favorite, and in between those, like, we're just going to be kind of talking about other stuff like snacks, stuff maybe we think you should get, stuff like that. But we'll go ahead and start off with our least favorite scare zone.
All right. So number 5, our least favorite scare zone was The Harvest.
Right. There really wasn't much to happen in this one. It's more for a photo op. Essentially what it is there's like little stands.
Like vignettes, I guess you would call them.
That kind of represent the feature haunted houses.
Yeah.
This wasn't all of them. Because it wasn't 10. Because I don't think Seeds of Extinction had its own. But
It was the movie ones.
Just the movie ones. Okay,
yeah.
So it's just the movie ones. All right. So it's kind of cool. The actors there did do a good job of trying to scare people because when we were in line for, I forget which haunted house is up towards the front.
Oh, Halloween. We were waiting
okay.
for Halloween, which was in where Shrek 4D is.
Yeah, that's where the line was, yeah.
It's right by where The Harvest is, and one of the actors was dressed up like kind of like a creepy scarecrow, and he basically was scaring people in the line, which I thought was great because sometimes it gets boring in those lines, and he was enjoying himself, and we were enjoying watching him because he was like setting himself up to scare people, like he was pretending to be a prop at one point, and then people would walk past him and he'd come to life, and he was actually really good. I do have to give props to him. Yeah. So if he happens to watch this, good job.
But as far as the scare zone went, there wasn't much there. It's just those, as she said, vignettes, if we're going to call them that, and some fencing. Yeah. That's it. That's pretty much all it was. So, I mean, it's just for you to, take some pictures if you want to do that. We'll go ahead and we'll talk about another scare zone here. At number 4, we had Killer Clowns from Outer Space. I thought this scare zone is pretty cool. I don't know. I kind of wish they would have done a little bit more with it.
Yeah, I love Killer Clowns from Outer Space, and this just was. I don't know. It's just the clowns walking around. It wasn't like they weren't doing anything. There was nothing really happening. It just kind of disappointed me.
The costumes are great. And they had like a projection that looked like a circus tent on the buildings. And there's an ice cream truck and some people in the cotton candy cocoons. But beside of that, that was it. And like they didn't really try and scare you. I mean, they're also in like tank-like costumes. Yeah. So it's definitely the least scariest scare zone. I just can't imagine, unless maybe you're scared of clowns and you're just one of those people that you're just like terrified of everything that looks like a clown. I mean, they're the derpiest looking things in the world. How you could be scared of it, I have no idea. But I think it's cool they did it though. Like that. Like I think the thing that like at least they
tried.
At least they did it. Yeah, they tried.
All right, so our next scare zone that we're going to talk about is our number 3, and this one was called Vamp 85. And from the title of it, it was basically vampires in 1985. The theme was it's New Year's Eve on 1984. The ball's about to drop, and when it does, the vampires feast into the new year. And that's basically what it was. It was a bunch of 80s vampires running around and like some victims and stuff with big hair and, you know, all the 80s vibe. It was great.
It was a lot of fun. And it's every 15 minutes or 30 minutes that the ball drops.
I think it's 15.
I believe it's 15, and then like they kind of like go in like a little massacre of all the people that aren't vampires and stuff. But the whole thing's just ridiculous, and it was really cool.
Yeah.
Like there was a lot of actors, and they try and some of them was scary because like they don't have that much makeup on, and they like kind of can blend in. There's a guy riding a motorcycle.
There were people that were victims, and they had like those noisemakers and stuff that you have for New Year's and stuff, and they would just walk up to you and just blow it into your ear. And that was their scare. And it scared the crap out of you because you thought it was just a normal person, and all of a sudden he's like, "Nee!" And you're like, oh my God, you know? It was really cool. I love the 80s theme. I thought it was really cool. They had a few really neat things. They had a stage with a 80s hairband that pretty much was wearing their equipment, but not in a good way.
And then they had like my like a Michael Jackson, a Prince.
Yes,
that was cool.
Yes, yeah. Oh yeah, they had Michael Jackson, Prince. I saw one that kind of looked like LL Cool J with like the bucket hat. And a few other really funny ones like that. It was just great. I'm a child of the 80s, so this was just like, I was like, oh my God.
And it felt like, and it did kind of feel like a party too. Like you walked up to things, you hear like the booming like 80s music and stuff, and you have the hair metal and that, and it just kind of, it's like put you in the mood as you walked up to it and stuff.
Yes.
And like I said, the actors were just great, and there was a ton of them too. Said it's hard to tell who exactly they were a lot of times, and it made it even better. Because like too, like when the ball drops, like they like the people that are humans will like be running away, and the vampires will be chasing after them, and you know they'll like sidestep at you and stuff, and it was really cool. I really enjoyed that scare zone. But then right beside the scare zone, like right in the same area, they actually have the Halloween Horror Nights store, which this store was great.
Oh my God.
Which is, you know, like you can get like, they have like the shirts we're wearing here. There's a whole bunch of like stuff you can buy. They actually had a thing where you could make your own t-shirt as well, which is neat.
Yes, you could put your name on like pretty much anything.
Because the inside of the place was cool because they had a kind of like, part of it was like the upside down from Stranger Things.
Yeah, it's basically what they call it is the tribute store. And they take a couple of the haunted houses and they deck it out as those haunted houses. But it's basically a souvenir shop for the Halloween Horror Nights. And one part was Stranger Things, and it was the upside down. They even had like a bubble machine going with these really tiny bubbles, so it looked like that crap that's floating around in the upside down. It was really weird and very unnerving because you're like, ew, there's dust, and they're like, no, it's bubbles.
Right. It was really cool. I liked that. It was a great idea.
Yeah, and then the other part was Trick or Treat. So they had all these like vintage looking masks, you know, those big plastic masks that used to come in the box with the horrible plastic costumes and stuff that you would wear in the 80s. Those were hanging up. And they, of course, had Sam and a bunch of old-fashioned Halloween things all over the place.
Just a lot of really cool stuff you could buy. And I felt like the prices actually weren't too bad. Like, these shirts are $25-ish, I believe. 25, 27.
Mine was a little bit more because I am a plus-size girl. Mine was 28.
But still, they're less than 30, which is surprising because, like, for example, the Harry Potter World shirts are 35, and that's a year-round thing. I was surprised the limited edition shirts. And these are actually pretty high quality because, like, you can't tell on camera, but it's like, there's, like, almost like a slime and a goop.
Yeah, like a stickiness to it. Almost makes it a little 3D.
And there's also, on the back of the shirt, there's print on it as well. It says, you know, we know what scares you on the back.
It says that.
But and they had like a really cool mug for Stranger Things. So like the outside was all like every Stranger Things, but as you drink it, it looks like the inside of a mouth of a Demogorgon.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Just tons of stuff. So I would highly recommend going there and at least checking it out. Like I said, I don't think it's that overpriced, especially not for theme park memorabilia like that. And it's like such a cool event. I would definitely recommend, you know, getting something if you can afford it. We'll go ahead and we'll talk about our next scare zone. Our number 2 favorite is Twisted Traditions. This one is just really cool looking. This is the part of the park, and it's become Universal has become kind of famous for the pumpkins in the tree thing. They do this, I guess, quite often now. And last year, this was the area where Trick or Treat Scare Zone was. I don't know, it's just cool looking, I guess.
Yeah, it was just so pretty, and like every so often the pumpkins would actually turn off, so then the scare zone got like really dark,
which is cool.
And they would pump fog in there, and then the scare actors would just come at you, and it was really smart, because I mean they was just like, yeah, you would just get like attacked by these pumpkin gut monsters.
Yeah, the monsters are essentially like sentient pumpkin people.
Yeah.
That would like, try and get you. And there's one really cool one, and I'll put a picture, I'll put a little video of it. He was like this glow in the dark, like skeletal thing. Well, not glow in the dark, he had like a light, that lit him up, and like a big pumpkin face, and like his whole body was like lit. He was really creepy and cool looking. There's a whole bunch of cool looking.
There was a ghost, but not like a normal, like, she did have a sheet on, but like she actually had her face painted and stuff. Like they actually looked like they were going trick-or-treating. Like it was almost like a combination of trick-or-treat and this weird pumpkin people.
Right.
And then there was a witch, and she was strange because I almost think she was controlling the pumpkins somehow, because she was sitting in this corner and she was telling people to be quiet. Like when they were looking at her, she's like, shh, shh, like this, and every so often the lights would go off and stuff. So I don't know if she was maybe in control of that, or what she was doing, or if she was just screwing around with people or what. But it was really cool, and it's one of their themes. One of the creators of Universal's Halloween Horror Nights is from Cary, Ohio.
Oh, yes. They always, yep.
So, usually one of the scare zones has a theme of being at Cary, Ohio. And this was actually the one, Twisted Traditions. So, you would see, there was actually some victims as well. And, like, there was a jock. He had a letter jacket on, and it said Cary High School and stuff like that. There were like the signs that said "Welcome to Cary" and things like that. But it was really cool because like even the victims were scaring people in this one too.
Yeah. The scare zone is really cool. It was really just pretty with all the lighting and stuff like that. I enjoyed it, and I like the idea of killer pumpkins. They were just cool looking.
Yeah, and around this area as well, because this was kind of near Springfield area, which is The Simpsons, was the chainsaws.
So many people with chainsaws. They
don't officially have their own zone. They just kind of pick an area, and that's where they go.
I think they're usually in the Simpsons area. I'm pretty sure.
But they were there this year, and they were dressed up kind of like a carnival circus theme. A little bit, so they were kind of clownish a little bit. But yeah, there was just so many.
So many. Way more than I thought there was going to be. Because I knew it was a thing, but I'm like, wow, there's so many of them. So yeah, that's really cool. So that's like right next to one another. So make sure you check that out too. Because it's, like I said, it's not an actual scare zone. But unless you don't like chainsaws. Then
don't look at it.
Yeah, then don't look at it. Just run.
Just run.
It's the best advice.
Because they love it when you run.
And I think we'll take a minute to kind of talk about like some of like the different snack options and like drink options you can get. The one thing is, this isn't Disney, so you can buy alcohol at the park. For example, this thing here, this cup she has, which I actually kind of, it's a mix. There's a divider in there, and they give you this twist straw. This thing also, it probably doesn't like, oh, I guess it does. You can see it on camera, and then it also has that on that end. You can also make it solid or turn it off. But so the drink was Long Island iced tea, and then like a sweet berry drink was on the other side.
Yeah.
I did not like the Long Island side. It was straight, like, tasted like straight bitters. Like, I did not enjoy it. But the berry side was good. So what I say, if you go because you can get that with just the berry, I believe, as well.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
Do that. The one thing I would recommend, though, is get a regular straw. Because the straw they gave you was this weird, twisty straw. It was basically to go into both spots. So it went in like that. But then it twisted up here, but it kept like coming undone. So like you were like drinking out of one side and not the other side, and it was really hard to maintain. We both ended up throwing our straws away.
Yeah, it was kind of strange, but it wasn't that bad. This isn't that badly priced. I think it was, what was it? 14, I think.
I think so.
For alcohol, and then you get a discount on the rest of the alcohol you get, and you get the cup that lights up. It's not a bad price. Sticking with the thing of drinks, you can also, the cups they have right now, unless you can get in the day, and you can also use it at night. And the fun fact is you can put slushies in here, which is great. So this was, I believe, $18. You can refill it all day. So you're doing Universal, definitely doing it because it's a pretty cool cup. I mean, you have like the scarecrow thing there, like the clown.
The handle glows in the dark.
Yeah, the handle glows in the dark. It's just a nice cup, really. Like, and I mean, for refilling it all day, like, I don't think that was that bad of a price.
Yeah, and if you get the quick service meal plan that they have at Universal, that's included in it because it's a full meal, drink, and then a snack.
Right, full quick service meal.
Yeah,
of course. And if you stay,
most every place had quick service.
Yeah, most places did, especially like the Harry Potter and stuff like that. But the other cool thing is the snack. One of the things they have Halloween Horror Nights, and we did try this, was really good. It was a fudge dipped waffle on a stick. These things are usually like $8, which I think is overpriced.
Yeah.
But if it's your snack, I'd say for sure get it. Like, it's also really good. So if you're on vacation, more than likely spend money. But I thought it was really good. Yeah. You can get peanuts or sprinkles on it.
Yes. They actually had other snacks that were all waffle themed because 11 loves waffles. Yeah. And we actually only got to try this one, which was the waffle on a stick.
Yeah. They had a syrup and waffle milkshake. I know they had that.
They had some big stacked waffle thing that was like essentially a cake, but it was made with waffles, and then it had like frosting and stuff in the middle. And then there was a waffle ice cream sandwich that I saw in somebody else's video.
I wish I would have known about that one or there.
Yeah, that looked awesome.
That was it. Where did you say was it?
It was at Louis.
Louis. Okay.
Yes, that's in New York, I believe. Over by Vamp 85.
Yeah. So that's another thing. There's lots of like cool snacks and drinks and stuff. I just love how like all out they go on that kind of thing. And all the food we had at Universal is really good as well. If you're over completely side note from Halloween Horror Nights, but I just have to give a mention. If you're over in Islands of Adventure, if you're there in the day, go to Mythos restaurant. It was amazing, and the prices were pretty good. Like, I got gnocchi bolognese, and it was a good portion. It was really fancy, really well made. Everything there's made from scratch. It was only like $15, $16, like in a theme park. And the tomato bisque soup was so good. Gosh. But except nothing to do with Halloween. But if you're there in the day, eat at that restaurant. You will not regret it. So I guess that brings us to our number one scare zone: The Revenge of Chucky.
Yes. Now, normally I'm not a huge fan of the Child's Play movies. I think they're kind of overdone, honestly. But this scare zone was awesome.
It was really cool. It's very interactive because, of course, they have the Chucky doll and he talks to you and makes fun of you. And I don't know how often he comes out. It's probably 15 minutes. That seemed kind of like a theme, as everything happens every 15 minutes.
I think so.
But we got to see that, and, he made fun of a lot of people in the audience and stuff.
Yeah, like, they don't swear, but they do use some derogatory words and stuff.
Yeah, well, they use light swear words, like you said, damn, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I mean...
But then there were the actors that were out in the scare zone, and basically what this is Chucky took over the toy factory that makes his toys. They basically decided to do a anniversary version of the doll that he was, the good guy's doll. And he takes over the factory, and he manipulates all the factory workers so they start killing for him. And then all these toys come to life, and there was like some really creepy looking Cabbage Patch Kids and the Barrel of Monkeys.
They would squirt people.
Yeah, they had a water cannon, and it looked like they were peeing on you.
It's real fun to just stand there and watch people get freaked out by it. Yeah. It's great.
And they were really cool, because, the Barrel of Monkeys, they have, like, those hands, because they have to, like, connect to each other. Well, these Barrel of Monkeys had these hands like this. It was just this big claw, like, thing. Then they also had, like, army men that were, like, shooting at you. And then they had a ballerina that there were actually different actors playing this ballerina, but I have to give props to the girl that was I don't know how to say this properly, but
she was like, I don't know if she was an amputee, but
yeah, she had a half arm.
Yeah,
but she used it for the best of her ability, because she scared the crap out of me. She was walking past me, she spun, did like a pirouette, and had that elbow in my face like that. And it just scared the crap out of me because I did not expect it. And boom, there's an arm. And I was just like, oh my God. Like, she used it for all it was worth. Mm-hmm. I give her props for that.
Oh, there's also in the scare zone a giant guy in nothing but a diaper and a baby mask.
Oh my God, yeah.
He was a very large fellow. Yes.
Yeah, you know what? You're brave.
Yeah, that was...
he was literally just in a diaper.
Couldn't do that in Ohio. Way too cold for that shit. Way too cold for that. Yeah. But hey, when you're in Orlando.
Yeah, where it's like 80 degrees.
But
all the time.
Yeah, that's the scare zone was a lot of fun. It was definitely... it wasn't the most elaborate, prettiest scare zone, but it was the most fun, I think.
Yeah, it was the most fun. There was a lot of interaction, a lot of things going on. Mm-hmm. Watching Chucky, it was really fun. He did a few things. He like electrocuted somebody.
Oh yeah,
he stabbed one of his minions.
And a chair made of Mega Blocks.
Yes, yeah, it was pretty cool. He made it out of the Mega Blocks and Slinkies and stuff like that. It was just pretty funny.
Yeah, it was great. Yeah. It was a lot. It was a lot of fun. And the other cool thing is that a lot of the rides still are open, so you can still get your night rides like Rip Red Rocket, stuff like that. And it's also a good time if there's like rides that may be too busy in the day to go. Then, like if they kind of want to take a break on haunted houses because there's usually not very big lines at all because everyone's at the haunted houses.
Right.
But that's the one thing is if I would highly, highly, highly recommend going on a Wednesday. We went there on a Wednesday. We got to walk in most haunted houses early on. The lines got longer at night, but we only waited like 20 minutes for Stranger Things towards the end of the night.
Yeah.
It said 45. We only had to wait 20. Night and day difference between Wednesday night and Friday night, though. Friday night, I mean, like all of the houses, even the least popular ones, are at least a 30-minute wait. That was like the minimum. There were we probably left the park because it opens up at 6. They let you in at 6. The houses don't have to start 6:30, but we found that they generally do start at 6 anyways, even though it says 6:30.
I think the ones that started later were the ones that still had stuff going on in them, and they just had to like kind of switch over because like some of them are in like the same building as like Shrek and things like that, so they kind of have to like make sure everybody's out of there before they start filing other people in for like the queue lines and stuff.
But a lot of people think that it's a good idea to start with like Stranger Things. Don't. I would start at the back of the park, hit as many haunted houses as you can, and then like what we did is we waited till like the very end of the night and then hit Stranger Things. I think that's the best way to do it. But man, Friday, like if you go on a Friday, I think you're almost going to need to get a fast pass if you want to go through most haunted houses. We did 8, and we could have done all 10 the first night we were there, but the one thing I will say about the houses is that the queue lines are the longest queue lines I've ever seen in my life. If this queue line's ever filled up as much as they made them, they'd be at least a 4-hour wait. They are so insanely overly long. I mean, it took us a couple of houses. It probably took us almost 10 minutes just to walk to them.
Yes.
There's so much zigzagging, and the thing is, a lot of the houses are not actually in the park. They're in the studio buildings back behind the park, and a couple of them being in permanent tents.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would get there right at 6, go to the back of the park, do all those ones, and kind of just work your way up. Because we started with Poltergeist and that, and then we actually went back to Men in Black. So we didn't start in the Men in Black area where Seeds and that was.
Because Poltergeist and
Carnival Graveyard
and Scary Tales were all kind of next to each other. So we started with Poltergeist. When we came back out, we walked back over to Scary Tales. Then we came back out. We went to Carnival. Then we walked all the way over and went to Men in Black area, which had
3 more. Blumhouse, Seeds of Extinction,
and Slaughter Cinema.
Oh wait, I think that was. Oh no, it wasn't Seeds of Extinction. It was
Dead Exposure.
Dead Exposure. Yeah, that was the other one. Yeah.
Yeah. It was just so much walking.
So yeah, just keep that in mind. And if you have the money for a fast pass, I say it's definitely worth it because you can be a little more leisurely about it. Because if you're not, like, you really need to. If you want to get all of them in, you only have a couple nights to be there, and especially if you only have one night, you're probably gonna need a fast pass that you're gonna have to do on a Wednesday, and you're gonna have to start at 6, and you can't really stop if you want to get them all in. Like, you gotta go. Like, you gotta go. So I recommend doing it over the course of a couple nights, or just getting a fast pass. But then remember, keep in mind, the fast pass only admits you into the house one time.
You get to use it once
time per
in
house.
each house.
Yeah. So then maybe afterwards, if there's like a short line, you can kind of do it. But
yeah,
like I said, the place gets very busy. But I would say it's definitely worth the price of admission. It was a really great experience. We hope to go again
And we did actually get a little special thing that you'd have to do some research for it. He found it. It was called the Rush of Fear. And it was a special pass where it was like a week and a half or something. Like special dates that you buy one ticket and you can go as many times as you want during
for the
that
first 10 nights of them being open is what it is. First 10 nights. So by the time this video is out, that's not going to be an option. But kind of look, there are some like deals you can get. You can get things like, don't look at just nightly deals. Like you can get some like that are like 3 nights for a discounted price and stuff like that. And if you stay on resort, if you stay in the Orlando resort, it's pretty pricey. But you get 1 night of Halloween Horror Nights included, and I believe you also get an express pass that comes with it.
Yeah.
So that's something to look into if you plan on doing that anyways. Then you can go to the parks for 5 days, maybe add on another night if you want to for Halloween Horror Nights, you know, for whatever it is, $100 a person somewhere in that area.
And I know that the if you stay on one of the resorts and stuff, they have special entrances for you.
Right, they do.
And they're not as busy, because I know we stood in a huge sea of people.
Especially Friday night was just
my God.
Unbelievable.
We left at, what was it? It was like 8 on Friday night, just because we were so exhausted.
Yeah.
And there were still a sea of people waiting to get in, and more coming in.
Yeah, just a staggering amount. And the waits were already insanely long for the houses.
Yeah. Stranger Things was almost 3 hours.
So just be prepared for that. If you go, you might end up having to shell out for a fast pass to just make sure you don't have money with you and stuff, you know, because you might need to if you actually want to see the haunted houses.
And they do have a lot of people like stationed in certain areas where you can just go and purchase one too.
Well, one thing I almost forgot I want to add to it, the makeup show.
Oh, yeah.
Make sure you do that. It's hilarious. It's great. It's like 30 minutes long. I really like the 2 people. I forget their names.
Alex Ross and I can't remember the guy's name.
Yeah, I can't remember his name.
No.
He's been doing it, I think, since like started. And it's at their theater thing, and it goes during the day as well. Make sure you do that. It's a lot of fun. I highly recommend it. But I mean, I think that's about it for this.
Volunteer.
Oh yeah, volunteer for the show. Yeah, they'll treat you real nice. But yeah, I think that's about it for this video. Anything else you want to add before we close it off?
I think that's it.
And make sure leave your comment. Let us know what you think. You know, did you go this year? What did you think of the scare zones and that? And we also have another video covering our top 10 houses. Make sure you watch that one as well. And drop a comment on there as well. Make sure you go and like our Facebook page, and if you want, you can become a Patreon so we can continue to make more videos like this and do videos off season as well. Thank you guys very much for watching.
Bye.